Bitch Soul's gonna lose today. Bitch Soul's gonna lose today. And he's gonna lose today.
It's a B-roll that loses, bro.
Hey, when they do B-roll for you, the B stands for bitch.
Oh, man.
Be real. As a judge, what are your expectations for this joint roll-off?
I think it's going to be a heated battle. They both hate each other in the battle arena of rolling joints. They're both consistent. They both roll pretty joints off the clock. So far, E-Zone has won on the clock, but I think it's going to be a close one. We'll see.
Welcome to the BREALTV joint roll-off. We have two competitors challenging the champion, Pedro Roll 'em Up Garcia, aka High-Dro, aka the Joint Supervisor. He is going after the title of the champion, E-Zone, aka I don't give two fucks and a hot dog about your roll. They're about to battle right here on BREALTV. Gentlemen, enough with the bullshit. And let's get with it.
Like that, huh? It turns you on, huh?
Here we are at the judges' table for the BREALTV roll-off between the champ and the challenger, one E-Zone, defending the title against Pedro Hydraulic Garcia. Usually their battle is pretty tight. You know, they've had one or two before. You know, one in the battle arena and one, you know, just for kicks.
if you will. But everybody in here be trying to have the best roll for some reason. I don't know what it is. It's
Heated competition.
heated competition over here. So they've both rolled 3 joints apiece.
That's right.
So that we can judge them individually. And look, that part of the competition is crucial because consistency is part of what you look for, right?
It is
Every
key.
joint looking the same as the last one, especially if it's a good fucking joint.
That's right.
You don't want to have any off.
You weren't lucky by rolling that one good lucky
No,
one.
you're good every roll.
Right.
Sometimes you fuck up. I know, because in competition, it happened to me. You know what I'm saying?
Consistency is key.
Consistency is key. I had one inconsistent joint that led to my demise as champ.
That's right.
So I could tell you that one inconsistency can cost you here.
It can.
All right. So with that being said, I am going to let you guys pick your individual joints before I pick mine. This side is Raw's dude. This side is E-Zone. I mean, not Raw dude. This side is Pedro. This side is E-Zone. All right. So
Now, am I to pick one?
pick your Pedro joint.
Oh, so I get one of the 3.
One of the 3 Pedro joints.
I mean, I'm just going to pick it off, man. I'm just going to pick the closest one to me. Let's just
You want the closest one to you?
Now, I'm looking at it. I mean, it's definitely
Whatever one you want to give me.
nicely, tightly rolled. The end is encapsulated so the weed does not fall out, which is important.
I'll say he's pretty consistent too, and you could see the line right here is pretty close. I mean, it curves off a little on the end, but that's when it's a pretty even roll when that line here, where the beginning tuck is straight across.
Right.
That's a fully even roll, but this is pretty good, and you could probably even roll this on the table here. Look at that. Like a wheel, Chief. It's even coming back to Papa.
Right.
Look at that. That's fucking awesome.
And I'll tell you what, even with the dry hit,
That's like a wheel, bro.
even with the dry hit,
here,
it
roll
feels
yours.
like it's pulling.
Roll yours.
Nicely.
Look at that.
Right to me. Whoop.
Yeah.
Right to me.
There's no stoppage.
Look at that. Even keel.
I gotta say,
Mine was a little wobble. A slight little wobble, but nothing crazy.
well, like
That could be just from the glue on that one edge.
There's some space.
yes, there is a slight wobble, slightly, but
Slightly. Nothing major.
I mean, look at that though. That's pretty good. But there is a slight wobble.
no. There's
I don't have any wobbles in mine. Mine are,
yours is nice.
it's a little itty bitty
Well,
wobble.
remember that the glue portion would outweigh the rest of this other side.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's gonna happen.
I also have something to say. Pedro has been learning, and you can call it maybe even taking a couple tricks of the trade or biting, some would say, because Pedro never used to, like you said, close his top of his joint like this,
Never topped off his joints.
and
Now he topped them off.
he noticed that E-Zone does it, so I believe he started doing it as well.
So he's learned that. He's picked up that trait.
So do we call that learning or do we call that biting?
Hey, listen, it's not uncommon for people to top off their joints.
Very true.
E-Zone doesn't do that alone. There's a lot of
True.
people who do that.
He's not the first person to do that.
He's not the first person. He didn't invent that technique. So,
True.
I mean, if you want to alter your style to make your look cleaner, hey.
I think it's more of adapting. You're adapting
Yeah.
as you're learning.
All right, let's see how these things smoke here because, that's a part of this too. And I could say that I didn't see any indentations on mine like, I did on his last competition and, where he barely squeaked through in the win against Raw's dude in Pedro. Slightly, yeah.
Now, I gotta
It's
say.
a nice smooth joint though. Can't
Oh
lie.
yeah. And I'll tell you what. I just lit it up, and it's hitting very nice. It's very even flow to it. It's not too. Because sometimes you roll it too tight and nice and even, and it's actually a harder draw to it.
Well, let's not forget, Pedro is the former champ. He got dethroned, but he is the former champ, so he knows what it takes to win a roll off. He is a pretty consistent roller. He keeps his shit. He keeps in training. Let's say.
I'll tell you what.
And this is something that was said of the champ, that sometimes the champ leans on his previous roles and he's basing his crown off of that. You know what I'm saying? But hey, listen, in competition, he's always come through. So we'll see. But so far, this joint is hitting pretty good.
He definitely rolled a top strain here because I could tell it's the Sequoia Sherbet by Green Thumb Farms, and I can tell you this shit is great. Tastes flavorful. So does that factor into the roll too?
The weed is the weed. A roll can't make the weed any well. I guess it can, because if you roll it too loose, the weed is harsh, no matter
state
how
of the
good it
weed
is. But the state of the weed, yes.
Can affect the roll.
Yes, but, it's like they're not going to make it any sweeter. A good roll is a good roll. Good weed is good weed. And I'll say this one's holding up. There's no funky burn on it. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty thorough.
Oh, look at that, and it's burning evenly. I lit it one time, and you guys can see. Didn't have to keep relighting it because it's not canoeing. You know what I mean? Those are important factors.
All right. I'm going to give Pedro, for this roll right here, I'm going to give it an 8.7. I'm going to give that an 8.7 right there.
I'm going to give mine a 9.0 because I don't think there's ever such thing as a perfect 10 joint because nothing in life is perfect. But I'm going to tell you, this is as close as you could pretty much get. There's no indentations. It hits well. It's not too tight. And it's burning evenly.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give Pedro a 9 for this. It's a good joint. Super solid. No real dents. It's burning quite nice. And it's rolled beautifully. No weed coming out on the tip. It's a great joint. 9. I give it a 9.
All right, he got a 9. All right, I will ask you gentlemen now to choose your E-Zone joint.
Just give me the one closest to. Doesn't matter.
Give you the one closest to you. Boom. Same. Ah, yes. All right. Back to this guy right here.
That was the joint E-Zone did not want you to grab.
It's not a bad joint, but if there was one critique on this joint is
I dropped it.
it rolled all the way off the table. Well, that's not a bad thing. It's good. So, like, the only problem with this joint, and there's not many problems with it, is between the lip here and where the glass meets the weed, there's a little bit of looseness of the paper, but that's not really such a huge factor in how it's going to burn and how it's going to smoke. But if someone were to hold this joint wrong, they could potentially squeeze it out. But it's still, a pretty maximum roll. I could see a little bit of leanage there, slightly, but the way that it looks from where the tuck happens and from the bottom of the paper up, I mean it's fairly good. What's going on over here? All right, so
There's
Well, I did the roll test,
right, so
and
his-
mine got away from me.
his roll test is pretty good though. Look at that.
Yeah, his passed the roll test too. It was my clumsy fingers that dropped the joint. So.
All right, so he, on mine, there's a. It's not a bad wobble, but it's a pretty good roll. It's a pretty good roll.
I have shocking developments on mine.
What happened with yours?
Okay, well, I was giving then I forgot to give the tip test to Pedro's joint, and then I gave it to E-Zone's, and see how it starts to slip out? I'm
Yeah.
not shaking it.
Oh,
Dang, loose. Oh.
Okay, but then I did it to Pedro's joint, and the tip completely came out, fell on the ground.
well, that was a late test right there on Pedro. So I don't know if you could factor that. You've already scored it,
That's true. And
but
no shake.
those are breaking developments. But you
It's
already
like
made your
it's
score.
It's like that toy, when you were a little kid, the little.
All right, let's light her up. There is a deeper tuck in these ones than Pedro's. Pedro usually, tucks it at the very top, and you could barely,
It's more even, not
Yes,
so
it-
concave.
doesn't go so deep. But we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, this is more concave on the
Yeah,
tip.
yeah. It's neat. It's a neat tuck. the joint is smooth. But then there's this. You're lucky, Pedro. You're lucky I forgot. Look at this thing. Fell out, my G. Let's see what happens here.
I gotta say,
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's a little tighter draw because I noticed, he rolls them so neat and so even without any indentation that it's almost it's tight as a cigarette in a sense.
I'll say it's different for mine. It's an easier hit on mine.
Mine too.
On mine, Pedro's hit was good, but it was not tight, but it was a little bit tighter than this. This one's a little bit easier hit. But, I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, they're pretty close for me.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's starting to even up as it's coming into the joint, too, because sometimes it's different. Sometimes it's like mid-joint with the taste. It's mid-joint with the way it pulls.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, it's starting to pull better now that I'm a few hits into it as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard one. It's going to be a hard one because, I should have put my glasses on.
I already have my score. I'm ready.
All right, bust out your score, Chach.
I mean, as much as I hate to say it, like, I'm going to say today was a draw. Like, these were, at least the ones that I got were both nines. Like, I really wanted to give Pedro the victory. You know what I mean? But I can't dog E-Zone's joint. I mean, it's clean, it's even. Like I said, it's nicely packed on the top, and it's hitting well.
Right.
The only problem was the broken tip, and that was my fault. I broke it. So.
Right.
So I give it a 9.
I'm gonna have to give E-Zone a 9.5.
A 9.5.
I gave Pedro a 9. And his tip fell out. So just on you're absolutely right, Damon. I feel like these joints are pretty much an even match.
They are, at least the two that I got. The one from Pedro, the one from
But I have to
E-Zone.
and look, E-Zone's is trying to fall out. You see it? It's
there it goes. There goes another tip.
What? That goes back. That's a 9. I have to give that. I have to give
There's
that
a 9.
Never mind on the 9.
You better stop while you're ahead. Hurry
I
up.
didn't shake it. I didn't do anything to it.
I smell an 8.7 coming.
Oh man. Oh man. And now the weed's starting to fall out. Oh damn. Oh damn.
So you gave him a 9 then? A 9?
A 9.
So 2 9s.
They get
What do you give him,
Oh man.
Dr. Green Thumb?
I'm gonna have to call this a draw right here. I'm gonna have to call this a draw because if it were not for this loose dangly part right here towards where the joint meets the glass, I would have gave him a 9 for that. I couldn't give him the 10 because his crease was see how it is right there?
Yeah, it's a little.
Yeah, you see how it is right there?
Yeah.
Pedro's was slightly straighter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, with me, like I said, the only downfall I felt was because he rolls them so neat, so even that they're almost too tight, like a cigarette. Now, like I said, as soon as I got about 4 or 5 hits into it, it's really starting to hit a lot better, a lot more smooth. So could have been just like I said, it's so tight towards the end that it doesn't hit until it gets going.
I have to say this is an 8.6.
So
Right
is that
here.
8786
Yeah.
for Pedro?
Yeah.
Dang, there it goes.
Yeah, this is E-Zone's right here. Because I'm looking at the look at see the crease? Here.
I do.
Here it is right here. Wait. I'm trying to find it here. Right here. See how it's slightly
Hear him
curved
up
there?
there?
See how it's slightly curved right
Make
there?
some shit up.
See how it's slightly curved right there? Do you see it?
I do. I see the crease
All
that
right.
you're talking about there.
Yes. Now, do you see Pedro's?
No, not there. No.
And you know what
I see, yeah, a little there.
Okay,
Top,
it's
yeah.
straighter, right?
Yeah.
How about you?
No, I see it definitely.
It's there it goes right there. And then
Oh, this one's a little bit straighter.
yeah, that's what I'm
It's a
saying.
little
This
straighter.
is High-Dro.
But I gotta change mine to both get 8s. They don't both. your tips can't be falling out this fucking joint. Like you guys both get 7s, bro.
They're go. Oh man, they're dropping even
Like-
further. Went from 9
I
to
just
9
can't
and a half to 9 to 7.
That's just unacceptable. Tips can't be falling out the goddamn joint. Come on, man.
Well,
7s. You guys both get 7s.
damn, that was cold-blooded.
I'm sorry.
Matching 7s.
I love you guys though.
He's got matching 7s.
Hey, both my tips fell out. I didn't even shake them or nothing. Nothing. All I did was, that's it. Just a little.
I got, it was 8.7 on High-Dro, 8.6 on the Champ.
Damn. So what does that mean? Does that mean Pedro wins by 1/10 of a point?
That's what it seems
That's what
like.
it means because I've got 2 9s, you've got 2 7s, and he's basically it's 1/10. So that's exactly what it means. That means that there's a new champion.
We have
in
a
the
new
house.
champ in the building.
Oh boy! By 1/10 of a point.
1/10 of a point.
A tenth of a point. The champ is going to be vexed.
That's right. Congratulations,
Champ's
Pedro.
going to be vexed right now.
Wherever Pedro is at.
This has been the roll-off. Sorry it's long-winded, but we take our rolling serious.
Very.
Peace.
You'd see that shit closing. Bulls coming out and still waiting in line trying to get in for just 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Get in for 5 minutes.
You know, just another day here at the studio.
How's the champ feel?
The champ, I feel great, man. As you can see, I put Mr. Second Place over there. He's now taking dabs instead of rolling joints.
Yeah, real man sport, bitch.
And yeah, man, whoever, if he wants to come back at me again, he has to be Raz Dude and Aton.
Your Be Real's easy prey, dog. That's the reason you won. He didn't want no smoke with me, dog. Straight up.
That's a sore loser.
All right, now let's come to you real quick. How do you feel about losing the match?
Number
by a
one,
point?
it doesn't make sense. When I was watching from on top, number one, there's a joint that was for Be Real that rolled off the table, and then there was another one that broke. I don't care what they fucking said. We watched it from upstairs while fucking Shiki was angry at the world. However, we were up there, and I saw that number one, there was a broken tip. They were just like, and then after that first drop, there was a little bend, and that's the shit that B-Real was talking about. He even had to be like, let me get your glasses. Let me get my glasses. And sure enough, I thought it was a big sabotage. Pedro does not deserve that title. It's okay. But, I feel like that it's only set up this way just so B-Real could take him out, and then he could be like, I'm back. I'm Green Thumb. I won.
That's what amateurs say. When you get an inferior roller who gets the title by a fluke, they make excuses for why they lose. Number one, the joint didn't roll off the table for me. I looked at the joints that the cameraman Ray set down, and I said, this one in the middle looks a little bent. Now, if he would have been really paying attention instead of side ear hustling, he would have heard that Tremone's joint rolled off the desk, and so did DJ Nelz's joint rolled off the desk. My joint did not roll off the desk. Plus, I didn't need to set him up for the loss because I could beat him and Pedro and anyone in here. How about that, ex-champ?